The markets bounced off some key levels last week. Has the trend reversed or is this just a temporary bounce? Let's discuss. My name is Den Slim and welcome to another episode of Monday Market Outlook. Another hot inflation reading and more warnings from the Fed on rates being higher for longer. This is actually old news, but what's new is that the GDP estimates came in at 1.6%, which was way below the 2.5 expectations. And with inflation numbers slowly inching its way up, we have a case of the economy slowing down while inflation continues to go up. Now, as growth rate continues to go down, 4.9, 3.4, 1.6%, inflation has gone up 3 months in a row. Combine this with core PCE on a quarterly basis also moving up to 3.7%, and we have the makings of stagflation. The economy is slowing down while inflation continues to go up. Now, this simply reinforces the Fed's higher for longer stance, and investors are slowly catching up as expectations for rate cut has gone down from 7 to just 1 this year, and investors are not expecting this to happen until December. Now, the market was initially optimistic about early rate cuts because the historical average from a pause to the first rate cut is usually around 8 months. And as interest rates have peaked last June, many were expecting a rate cut by March. But as you can see, depending on economic conditions, the pause can actually extend for 5 to 8 months more. So there's a strong possibility that we may not even see rate cuts this year, as the market recalibrates their bets from 7 to just 1 rate cut. The 10-year bonds continue to rally towards the 4.75% level, and this has caused the dollar to strengthen further as the USD gapped up against the peso to a high of 57.95 before closing at 57.70 to end last week. Geopolitical tensions also continue to help the dollar strengthen as investors continue to flock to safe haven assets, which also includes gold. Of course, this has prompted the BSP Governor Eli Remolona Jr. to issue a statement that the BSP is open to defending the peso if the dollar strength continues. And what does this exactly mean when the BSP governor says it's ready to defend the peso? Does this mean more rate hikes this year, right? Or could this be just a form of moral suasion? You know, sometimes you have to just go out and say something without having to actually do it, just to reassure the public. But I guess it was not enough to cause any commotion in the markets, as the PSEI rebounded strongly last Friday, up 2.2% from our last week's reading, tapping into this critical zone here at 6,500 to 6,450, right? So the market gapped up last Wednesday after the reaction to the US markets, creating here what could be an island reversal here, which is a bullish indicator. And then the Friday's bullish engulfing candle here is also a good indication that this rally may continue this week. So let's do some basic charting and review some basic concepts, especially on reversal patterns, right? Because, you know, underneath all of these candles and chart patterns here really contain the emotions and psychology of traders, especially institutional investors, right? Because, I mean, some people ask if the stock market is manipulated, or some people even assume that the stock market is manipulated. I mean, of course it is manipulated, right? Do you actually think that us retail traders have enough money to move the markets? We don't. All of these movements here are the movements of big institutions who have hundreds of millions, billions of pesos to put into the markets and to move the markets in either direction, right? Now, each of us retail traders can maybe put what, 10,000, 20,000, 50,000, 100,000 on a stock. It doesn't matter. It's too small compared to the hundreds of millions that, you know, foreign funds can either infuse or take out from the markets, right? So Now, these patterns here, these patterns are representative of how institutions work. So my question here is, do you want to go against these institutions, or do you want to be able to determine what they are doing so that you can piggyback on their movements and make money off of them, right? Let's look at some patterns here. Like, just an example, let's look at the Hang Seng Index, right? What we're looking for chart patterns here are trends, right? This is a downtrend and this is an uptrend, right? So clearly the trend here is going down and clearly here it's going up. Now, a trend is made up of rallies, pullbacks, rallies, pullbacks, rallies, pullbacks. Of course, if it's on a downtrend, the pullback is longer than the rallies. If it's on an uptrend, right, the rallies are longer than the pullbacks, right? Now, what signals a trend reversal? Usually, the most common trend reversal pattern would be a head and shoulders pattern, right? So what do we see here? We see here a head and shoulders pattern, right? So we see here a shoulder, a head, shoulder, right? And only when it clears this neckline do we confirm that this pattern has changed, right? So what do we see here? On the other side of the reversal pattern, we have an inverse head and shoulders. Here we see a shoulder here, right? Only when it clears this neckline do we confirm the reversal. There are also short-term reversal patterns here. It goes up, it reverses, it goes down, goes up, goes down, right? What marks the changes? Doji candles, right? Doji candles and a follow-through day. Here, doji candles and a follow-through day, right? Are we seeing the same reversal patterns in the PSEI? Now, let's look at the PSEI. What happens here after tapping this zone? Do we see a reversal here? Again, we mentioned an island reversal, an engulfing candle here on Friday. Now, another way to look at it is to drill down on the 1 hour chart from the 1 day. What do we see here? We see a better confirmation of what's happening, right? We see here a double bottom, right? And then it bounced off this neckline to go up, right? So far, so good. PSEI looking like it has reversed this downtrend. If we look at individual stocks, do we see the same reversal here, right? Head and shoulders pattern, confirming this bounce, we're going up. So far, so good. AP, even though it's not an index stock, looking like it's reversing. AC, what about AC, right? What's happening here? Do we see a confirmation of a reversal? Not yet. Why? Let's look at what's happening here. You see a rally, a large pullback, a small rally, a large pullback. What we're seeing here is a small rally and then a pullback again. What could happen here? It could pull back all the way here. So which is why what we were saying last week is the best case scenario for AC is for it to form a double bottom here, go up, right? So what happens if it forms a double bottom here, goes up, it needs to clear this neckline, go up, defend this zone. Only then do we get confirmation. Again, look at these words. Patience. You have to be patient with AC. You have to confirm that it has reversed its pattern, then react. Do not anticipate. Understandably, this is a good level to buy AC. If you buy AC now, do you have any guarantees that it will not go down? As of now, we don't, right? The chances are it will still go down. But again, based on historical behavior, AC again seems to be a good buy here. So which is why we are anticipating that this is going to form a double bottom instead of it breaking through this low, right? But we'll see. For SM, is it forming a better pattern? Yes, it is. It was able to defend the zone and bounce off of that. What about JFC? Again, looking good, right? Because went down, went up, went down, went up. Right here, went down, went up. Clearing this neckline, we're good. Now we wait for it to defend the zone and then you can buy JFC probably there, right? So what's next? We have Ali. What does Ali look like? Looking better, right? It was able to defend this neckline. Now what are we looking for? It has to go here and then defend this zone, right? Because we are seeing some resistance happening at these levels, right? So, but Ali, again, looking much better. SMPH, right? What happened with SMPH? Remember, last week we ended SMPH here. So we are not seeing any indications of a reversal. After 1 week, what did we see? We're seeing a better structure here. And if we zoom in to the 1-hour charts, what do we see? We see here a low movement, a higher low. And what are we looking for next? We are looking for this to clear this top here. Because if it doesn't clear this top, right, what happens? Remember what happened here. It was not able to clear this top here and it continued to go down. So it needs to clear this level here to confirm it, right? So we are not seeing that yet. So again, patience, confirm this first, then we react, right? So if it clears it, what we want to see next is it pulls back, defends this zone, and then proceeds to go up, right? So that's what we're looking for. Now, ICT, not looking too good because look at what's happening. It seems to be peaking at this level, right? So, in contrast to what was happening before, it was going aggressively up. Now, it's forming lower highs, right? So, it might be peaking at around 336, 332, maybe a good time to sell. BDO, of course, the bank's BDO downtrend, right? Looks like it's going to break 143. Let's see if it can form any kind of reversal pattern at 143. If not, 136 would be your next level of support. BPI looks like a double bottom here. It was able to defend this zone, go up, defend the 20 EMA, and it's going up, right? A hold for BPI. Metrobank looking good. It went down, it came back, right? GT Cap. The same scenario as SMPH last week. What happened with GT Cap? It ended here, right? What did we get this week? A better structure. If we go to the 1-hour chart, what does it look like? Here we have 1, 2, 3. Wait for it to clear this neckline here. Defend this zone, bounce back. Again, patience, confirm, then react. Do not anticipate. And then lastly, we have Monde. What happened here? It was going down. Now, has the trend reversed so far? It formed a higher low and it bounced off from that. Wait for the retrace and then maybe you can come in, right? So, I mean, hopefully we can get a better sense of how the PSEI is trying to form a base and trying to form some reversal patterns here. Is this the bottom for the PSEI? As of now, it looks like it's bouncing off of that level. Are we going to continue to bounce to higher levels? We don't know. But so far, it's looking good. And if you decide to enter into some positions right now, like for example, GT Cap, will it go up? Yeah, it could go up. Chances are it will because it is forming a good pattern here. But could it also go down? Yes, it could still go down, which is why we try to define stop losses, right? So I would define a stop loss here, right? Because if it breaks down this support zone here, then we have reason to believe that GT Cap might go to 538 or 509. And of course, when it reaches that level, again, we have to wait for confirmation, we have to be patient, and so on and so forth. So I usually set a stop loss here because I don't want to ride GT Cap all the way down here, right? So I'll just wait for more confirmation of a bounce and then come back in. So let's go on to the global markets. Let's look at the S&P 500. Let's go to the one-day charts. The index formed an engulfing candle last Monday, and so far we are on our way up. Now, the ended last Friday on a doji. What can happen here? Now, if this forms a red candle going down, then we may be going down again this week because this can happen, right? This consolidation can happen and this can happen again, right? And we can retest 5,000 or even 4,960. And as we said, the S&P 500 will take its cue from earnings. But so far so good because last week's earnings, the magic word for earnings is still AI. Google gapped up 17% and Microsoft 6.3% after hours as they reported their earnings beat last week. Now remember that the Mag 7 stocks have been key to the S&P 500 in the past year, and AI continues to dominate the headlines. With the 10% gain for Alphabet last Friday, this puts it at the 2 trillion level along with Microsoft, Apple, and Nvidia. And you know, you don't even have to beat earnings to pump up your stock price. Tesla share price jumping 13% despite reporting a 9% drop in revenue in one of its steepest declines since 2012. But you mentioned AI, and you've got a winner. At the heart of the Tesla ecosystem, we have your energy storage, solar tech, charging stations, ride-hailing app, AI computing, right? Again, AI is still the magic word. Now, looking under the hood for the S&P 500, we are starting to see breadth across the S&P 1,500 starting to improve, led by the financials, utilities, real estate, and the consumer defensives. Looking at the stocks reaching new highs compared to stocks reaching new lows, we can clearly see a more broad-based growth across the markets. Now, looking at the seasonal patterns, we are currently here. We jumped off a bit, but we could see some consolidation here through May and June before continuing the rally based on the seasonal patterns. Now, next week, we are looking at some PMI numbers. Of course, the Fed rate decision could come as no surprise, but do watch out for Fed speak in case Fed Chair Jay Powell has some surprises up his sleeve. Now, earnings last week, again, will be key to how the S&P 500 performs. We have Amazon, Eli Lilly, AMD, and Supermicro all reporting next week. Let's see what they have in store. Of course, Apple also on Thursday, right? And here are the implied volatilities of the earnings report. We have AMD, Amazon, Starbucks all up there at 9 to 7% plus or minus depending on their guidance and their earnings beat. Now, so for this week, this could be actually a good time to shop for some bargains. Remember to accumulate conservatively. Don't be too aggressive, right? So, for example, if you're trying to invest 50,000 on a position, right? Do 15,000 first or 10,000 first. When you get more confirmation, then you add another 15,000. If you get more confirmation, then you add the 20,000, right? But be conservative with your entries right now because we still don't know if this rally is going to hold in the coming months. Let's see how some of the other stocks form this week. Again, be patient, confirm, then react. Do not anticipate, right? So that's it for this week. Please like this video if you found the information useful. Please subscribe to the channel for more updates. And again, good luck on your trades. Please manage your risk accordingly. And I'll see you again next week. Bye-bye.